Hey friend, welcome. It's Michaela, but you can call me Mac. Today is a bittersweet day. We are finishing out this 2023 reading journal. So I'm going to be updating this journal with all of the books that I read in November and December. With the holidays being so crazy busy, I'm just now getting around to updating my journal with all the books that I read. So let's just jump right into it. This first page is for Fine Print, which is the first book in a 3-book series that follow these billionaire brothers who are essentially the owners of this amusement park called Dreamland. Their grandfather just recently passed away, and in his will he wrote the stipulation that the brothers have to accomplish certain tasks in order to collect their inheritance. So this first book is about Rowan, who I believe is the youngest brother, and he's basically managing the Dreamland Park, and he's looking for ways to make innovative changes and different designs and update the park. Well, in walks Zara. One night she submits this drunken proposal criticizing Dreamland's most expensive ride and basically saying that she could do it better. And of course, Rowan ends up picking her proposal. And this is just basically about the two of them working on a team together. And as you can imagine, romance is gonna follow at some point. Zara and Rowan have a grumpy sunshine dynamic going on, which is cute for them. But I think after reading this, I'm trying to decide if grumpy sunshine trope is for me. I don't think it is. The story was cute overall, but the older I get, the more I'm just side-eyeing billionaire romances and the whole convenience of I can buy you anything you want. On one hand of my Libra scale, it's like, oh my god, I love this. This is such a cute thing. And on the other side, I'm just like, you flew her out to New York on a private jet for one day for this very specific date idea that you set up just for her is just wildly irresponsible, both financially and for the environment. There's this delicate balance between enjoying fiction's unrealistic charm and then the occasional eye roll. Overall, it was cute. I gave it 3.75 stars, and I probably will try out the next book in the series, but maybe no time soon. I also listened to the audiobook Better Than Fiction. This story follows Drew, who is a self-proclaimed book hater and is a firm believer that the movie is always better than the book. Well, she ends up inheriting her grandmother's bookstore, and she is in way over her head. The bookstore is hosting an upcoming signing event, and Jasper Williams, a famous romance writer, is scheduled to attend. Jasper is determined to show Drew the beauty of reading, so he curates a book bucket list in exchange for her help in exploring the local Denver scene to help him write his current book. Of course, the two end up connecting, and when messy family ties jeopardize the future of the bookstore, Drew is stuck between a rock and a hard place when she has to make decisions on what she should do. This was a light and enjoyable read. I thought Drew and Jasper were a cute couple, and I actually liked both of their personalities. I also thought the side characters, like Drew's sister and her best friend, and then her grandmother's best friends, were all well written. I would want all of those women in my life. They were always just ride or die for Drew. I gave this 4 stars. Can I also just talk about how cute this sticker is? My pen pal Candace sent this to me. Thanks, girl. It's so cute, and I thought it would go perfect with this. This is exactly how I pictured Drew to look. Red Rising was on my list of books to finish by the end of the year, so I'm glad I was able to squeeze this one in. This is a dystopian science fiction book that takes place in the future on Mars, and humanity has been essentially categorized into a color-coded class system. Well, the book follows this main character, Darrow, and he is a red, and reds are the lowest of the low on this class system scale. And the Reds are sent to Mars to essentially get the planet ready for the higher colors. I believe the Reds were told once the planet becomes habitable, their color is now going to be the new top color. Well, Darrow soon finds out the truth, and he sets out on a journey to basically bring down the higher colors. The setting of this book surprised me a bit. I wasn't expecting a school setting with elements that are similar to the Hunger Games. Although I thought it was pretty interesting, it just wasn't at all what I was expecting, I guess. I thought the world building and the complex society was done well. However, I just didn't really connect with any of the characters aside from Darrow. And I only really liked Darrow in the very beginning of the book when he was with his community. And I thought that he was mature for his age. I think he's 16 or 17 or something. And he was already married, and in his community, they have to kind of grow up fast and be mature. But I just really appreciated the moments that he had with his wife. I feel like his maturity really showed in the moments when he had to make decisions, and like his wife and his experiences in his hometown gave him the ability to like make those certain decisions in order to survive. I'm not super invested to immediately dive into the next book in the series, but I am curious where this story is going to lead. So I do plan to pick up the second book at least. Overall, I gave this like a 3.5 stars. And the last book for November was a reread of one of my favorite books, Heartless. This was the very first book I've ever annotated. I have an entire video on it. You can go check that out. I also used the annotations to set up this spread. I love how this came out. This is my first time doing a digital drawing for one of my reading journal spreads, and I'm definitely gonna keep doing some more in the future. Oh my gosh, I also listened to the audiobook Kiss Her Once for Me, and I absolutely loved that book. It was so cute and so sweet. Okay, hold on. Let me tell you what it's about. I'm getting ahead of myself. So 1 year ago, Ellie moved to Portland after securing her dream job of becoming an animator, and she had this Christmas Eve meet cute with a woman at a bookstore that led her to fall in love over the course of a single night. But after a betrayal the next morning and the loss of her job soon after, she finds herself adrift, alone, and desperate for money. She starts working at a local coffee shop, and Andrew, the shop's landlord, proposes a shocking, drunken proposal. A marriage of convenience so he can I'm sorry, I'm just starting to notice a theme with the books that I'm reading. Anyway, it's a marriage of convenience so he can get his inheritance from his grandfather. And of course, he plans to give Ellie some money to alleviate her financial woes as well. So they plan to spend the holidays together at his family's cabin to keep up the ruse that they're actually engaged. But when Andrew introduces his new fiance to his sister, Ellie is shocked to see that it's Jack, the mysterious woman that she fell for over the course of one magical Christmas Eve the year before. I'm so sorry. I'm like swooning just reading the description. This book was so cute. Now Ellie must choose between the safety of a fake relationship and the risk of something real. As I said, this book was just so cute. Like, I still think about parts of this book to this day. All right, one thing about me, I cannot stand the miscommunication trope. And I know that most romance books have that, some of them are well done and some of them are not. This one was well done. And because I was listening to the audiobook, I wasn't able to like snag this quote. So I don't know exactly how she said it, but basically there were several moments where there could have been a miscommunication. And Jack was like, no, miscommunication is for the straights. We are two queer women. We are going to talk this out. And I just was like, round of applause. Thank you for using your words and actually talking through the situation. Like, I couldn't be more happy. In this story, Jack is a baker and she's trying to open her own bakery. So I wanted the letters to look like cookies with like little icing designs on them. And for some reason, I didn't want to have any writing on this page other than the title of the book because I don't know, I loved it so much that I'm always going to think about it. I'm always going to remember it. So I don't need like words to remind me of this, I guess. I don't know. But I really loved how this page turned out. Overall, I gave this book a 4.75 stars. So my mom and I did a 24-hour read-a-thon challenge in December, so I was able to read quite a few books during that time period. Including the 3 books on this spread, the first one was 10 Blind Dates, which follows the story of Sophie, who plans to spend the holidays with her boyfriend, but then her boyfriend ends up wanting like a break from the relationship. So Sophie ends up spending the holidays with her grandma and their huge family, and basically all of her family members decide to set her up on 10 blind dates between Christmas and New Year to help her get over her boyfriend. This book was not what I thought it was gonna be. I didn't realize this was a young adult book because, family members setting up a 17-year-old on blind dates just seems a bit off to me, but to each his own. It was just a bit juvenile at times and a bit boring, but overall there were some cute moments and funny moments, and the family and friend support was the highlight of the story. So I gave this originally like a 2.75, but I ended up giving it a 3 star after thinking about it some more. It was okay. I also read Planet Barbarians. This was about a group of human women who are abducted by aliens. The aliens end up crash landing on this ice planet and they leave the women there to go, I guess, fix their ship or go somewhere to get parts for their ship or something. And the women end up coming in contact with the inhabitants of this planet, which end up being these giant, muscular, good looking blue men or aliens, I guess. Overall, this book was just alien smut with a sprinkle of plot, is the best way to describe that. And you know what? That's okay. If that's what you're into, that's okay. It was a quick and easy read, and the appeal honestly lies mostly in the like intergalactic romances with the unwavering dedication of these giant blue alien men to their human women, but the plot isn't really there. If you're here for plot, don't expect much. I gave this like a 3.25. During the 24 hours, I also read The Afterlife of Holly Chase. This is about a 17-year-old girl who is basically a Scrooge character. She's visited by the three ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future, and they basically try to tell her to change her ways. She doesn't listen, and she ends up dying. And now she works as the ghost of Christmas past for this top secret company called Project Scrooge, and they basically just help other Scrooges. This book was okay. It was a unique spin on like the classic tale of like redemption. Um it was mildly entertaining since I didn't really know much about the story going into it. But I mean, you know, Holly, she's a Scrooge character. She's supposed to be understandably unlikable, and I didn't mind it. I gave it a 3.5 star at first, but then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, it was okay. So I changed my rating to 3 stars. I also listened to the audiobook Mistlefoe by Kimberly Lemming. I was so excited to listen to this short little novella. I read a book from this author for the first time earlier this year, and I absolutely ate that book up. It was so good. I listened to the other two in the series, and then this one is supposed to be, I think this one is supposed to be between like books 1 and 2, and I didn't know that. But anyway, I listened to it. The story follows Ruby, who is trying to remove a curse that was put on her family after her dad accidentally trespassed into a fox demon territory. Well, the fox demon does not want this basket of treats that she brings with her as an apology. He actually needs a fake mate to attend this event with him, and she ends up doing that, of course. And of course, they end up growing closer and closer because they're supposed to pretend to be together, and you know, they end up actually falling in love. Although I liked the story, this is probably my least favorite Kimberly Lemming book so far, only because it was so short. And I get that it's a novella. It was cute, but like the brevity of it made it seem like the plot was a tad rushed. It was kind of like there was a mission to pack as many steamy scenes as possible into like a short book. So heavy on the spice, plot could use some work for sure. I thought Luca and Ruby's chemistry was cute, but the person that stole, well, I don't want to say person, the object that stole the show was Alexis. She is a talking sword that is technically first introduced in this novella that's supposed to be like a 1.5 book in between books 1 and 2, but I first met her in book 2 and she's so freaking hilarious, and this was just like her origin story of how she became a talking sword essentially. I gave this book 3.75 stars overall. And lastly, I read The Geek Who Saved Christmas. This book was so cute and so cozy. And I know I said Grumpy Sunshine was probably not the trope for me, but Paul and Gideon made it work. I could not get enough of their charm. It was so cute. So Gideon is like a super friendly neighbor. He does all the holiday decorations. They live in this neighborhood where everybody decorates their house for Christmas. He's like the leader, or I guess the person in charge of like the party planning and all those kind of things. And then you have Paul, who is not that person at all. Well, Paul's younger brother wants to propose to his girlfriend at Paul's house on Christmas, and so he wants to have like the perfect Christmas backdrop. So Paul asks Gideon for his help, and Gideon is going all out redecorating this man's house, and it's just so cute. I just loved it. Can I just say, I am absolutely eating these books up that have more mature characters. It's just such a welcome departure from YA for sure. Their banter, their communication, their relationship progression from like neighbors to lovers. It's the highlight of the book. It's so good. And there's also so many funny moments. Like, there's like this moment where Paul's like, nah, we are in our 40s. Like, our knees are not what they used to be. Like, their banter is just so funny and cute. They also just like go shopping together, get coffee together. They're decorating Paul's roof together. Like, all of it was just so cute. I was just like, this is such a cute, gooey, sweet Christmas read. And here's a final flip through of all of the books I read in November and December. This is such a bittersweet moment because this is my very first reading journal, and I'm both excited and sad that I finished it. I have a couple of more spreads to update, and then it will be on to 2024. Wow, I can't believe that. Anyway, friend, I really appreciate you being here. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you want to check out our 24-hour read-a-thon where I talked about a couple of these books more in depth, I'll be sure to link that video right here on the left-hand side of the screen. Go check it out, and I will see you over there. Bye!